live. Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone, and happy Tuesday. I almost said Thursday. We don't have any music tonight. We are freelancing it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I am Chandra Stringer, the host of the Village Speaks Talk Show, right here, housed at the Inspiration Station in the beautiful city of West Palm Beach, Florida. And we're housed at the place that we call Blessed Boulevard. Why do we call this place Blessed Boulevard? Because there is no place like this place around this place. And why? Because we are blessed. And I want to say thank you for tuning in for our special show. We will be back the first week of February in our regular segment. We do have making sure that I'm live, you guys. Give me a minute. We do have two other offset events, so we won't be on Thursdays. I think we're here. Let me see, make sure. Yep, we are live. Okay, I just want to make sure. But so just follow the page so you'll know when we're doing our special segments for the next 2 weeks. And then February, we're back on. We have a very, very, very special guest that will be in-house with us. And so without any further ado, we do have a special guest with us tonight. You guys know the mission of the Village Speaks Talk Show is to highlight local and global businesses, causes, and initiatives to create an awareness so we can either help be a part of the solution or make sure we provide resources to be a part of the solution. So either way it go, we're not just hearing information. We want to know how we can jump in as the community to help. You're probably wondering about all the announcements that I posted. They'll be posted in the comment section again today. It's too many to remember, y'all. We're on skates for these next 6 weeks. So just look in the comment section. I'll repost those flyers of all the different events that's going on in around our community. Without any further ado, I would like our special guest to introduce herself, and then we'll go from there. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Chandra, for the opportunity. My name is Becky Diamond, and I live in the north end of Palm Beach County, and I run Lighthouse PBC, which is a nonprofit working with women exiting sex trafficking. I've been doing it for, this makes 12 or 13 years. And and we provide support for gals coming out, job and life skill training. I'm a trauma therapist, so I provide therapy as well for most of them at no charge. I like to charge something, $10, $15, just so they have some skin in the game. But, working on helping them rebuild their lives. In fact, the tagline for our organization is Shining Light, Bringing Hope. We're faith-based, and we're looking to help people get their footing after really rough experiences in life.
Wow. And we do, whether you know or not, January is National Human Trafficking Awareness and Prevention Month, correct? Okay. Her internet
right. It's prevention and awareness. Yeah.
Prevention and awareness. And Becky, before we get farther in, I actually pulled some statistics from the website, and it was like, wow. So nationally, since human trafficking awareness was created or brought a light to, and that's not that far long ago, 2007. I'm looking at these numbers, and it says that it's a reported case of human trafficking of 399,494 cases. 399,494 cases. That is unbelievable. And then I went a little farther, and I know you can definitely shed more light on this. I went a little farther and came across that Palm Beach County is the third ranked in the state for reported call volume to the National Human Trafficking Hotline. And Florida, according to the Alliance to End Human Trafficking, that Florida ranks is the third highest state with human trafficking. Can you speak to that? And we're so grateful for you guys and whomever other organizations that are diving into this work.
Well, the reality is it's not about sex, it's about money. right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, that's the bottom line. I've done, people kept asking me, well, what about Palm Beach County? Surely not here. And so I did some research, and I was looking at strip clubs, escort
Mm-hmm.
services, erotic massage parlors. There are actually websites that rate
Wow.
those parlors for their services. So it's not like, oh, oops, that's massage indie. It's like,
No. Mm-hmm.
right. And then looking at the number of arrests. And so
Mm-hmm.
just looking in Palm Beach County, we estimate there's around 3,000 women being commercially sexually exploited. If you live in Palm Beach County, you live within 10 miles of a victim. Absolutely.
Wow.
That's not even adding in the labor trafficking, which is a
Mm-hmm.
whole nother
Yeah.
can of worms, especially
Mm-hmm.
out west, but also in nail salons and roofing and lawn maintenance. How come this guy can always outbid, underbid everybody else? Well, yeah, because he's not paying his people, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
it's very common.
Yeah, yeah, because when you say that, that number, that 399,000 for 494, it talks about the breakdown. It says human trafficking correlates to 82,301 cases, and then I'm sorry, hold on, I got my notes mixed up here, but they have it broken down into the different types, and so we can't even just group them all together because there's sex trafficking, there's labor trafficking, and there's a whole monotony of all of these things that we're going to work every day, going to on about our busy lives and thinking everything is just hunky-dory, not understanding there's a whole sort of kind of underground world that's happening that we need to start paying attention to.
And I don't want to go on the dark web. I really don't want to know about a lot of that stuff. It's so dark that it's
Right,
discouraging. But
right.
in what I do, we've had some amazing successes. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what keeps you going. That's what makes you get up in the morning and swing your feet over the bed and roll out, because there
Mm-hmm.
are people that respond and just soar. Like one of the gals that came, I used to run a safe house, but I tell people I'm a better therapist than I am fundraiser. And we had to close it back in 2018 because of funding. But there was a gal
Mm-hmm.
that had been in the safe house, the worst story I'd ever heard. And I've heard some stories. And
Wow.
and it was kind of cool. She was thinking that, I'm always trying to help them develop some kind of a marketable skill so that they can support themselves.
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's is just not going to make it happen, right? And so
Right.
she'd said, well, I think I'd like to be a hairstylist. She's super artistic. And I said, okay, I can do that. But she's a little on the heavy side. She has some real knee and ankle issues. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
going, you are an artist. She had done this thing with one of the gals in the safe house who was having a rough day, did oil pastels with her, showed her how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you're an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you go to school and do art, do something? And she was terrified, barely got out of high school, and so she
Mm-hmm.
thought, I'm going to bomb the math. I said, then take that first,
Yeah,
get
get it
it
out the
out of the
way.
way. And
I hate math too.
yeah, but she aced it. She did well,
Wow.
and she was like, oh my goodness, I think I can do this. She went and got her AA, and then I was able to get her a scholarship for the
Mm-hmm.
remainder of a 4-year degree in graphic arts. And she's
Wow.
killing it. She's doing great. And those are the things that make you go, I'm in it, I'm in.
Yes.
I'm not going anywhere. And
Wow.
some of the things that we do that are maybe more practical and identifiable is we do I had this crazy idea, pop up at the laundromat. And so
Ah.
we have signs there's one on 50th and Broadway. There's a second one we do on 25th and Broadway in
Mm-hmm.
West Palm. And we have
Yes.
signs up in the area saying, if you're a woman living a life you never wanted to live in a place you never wanted to be, because
Mm.
how are you going to say, if you're being sex trafficked, right? We'll do your laundry for you on this
Mm.
day, these hours. And the whole idea is to build relationship with them.
Yes.
so that when we take chairs, we take a shade tent, we take refreshments. I always take cut flowers because I want them to know they're worth the extra effort. I
Wow.
take used clothing, gently used clothing that's appropriate for the street. I'm not taking anything that would further
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
activities, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and we just hang out, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll and quarters and detergent, right? We just hang out
Yes.
with them and talk with them, just so that they have a face and a phone number, that when they want out, they have somebody
Yeah.
they can call.
That is amazing. It's funny that you said that. I mean, I financial, I'm not able to do it now, but I definitely want to give you guys some resources because I have one person at coupon. And I'll hopefully I'll see her this weekend, if not next weekend for sure. But there are times when I would just go to the laundromat out of my own kindness and carry rolls of quarters. And when people put their clothes in, we would go feed the machine for them.
Yeah,
And it was like Christmas in July because they were so grateful for
yeah,
that somebody actually thought enough of them. So that is a very, 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 very creative idea. And I know that it works. And so with that being said, what are some of the other things that the community can actually help you with or get the word out? Because this is, prevention and awareness month. What are some of the things that we can do as the community?
well, I'm always looking for volunteers. It takes a special kind of person to
Hmm.
go to the laundromat. It's I've had people that came where I went, you know, they're just struggling. And to be honest, there's times where I walk away where the amount of pain that you
Yeah.
see in
Yes.
an hour and a half is just staggering, right?
Yeah.
But I'm always looking for
Mhm.
volunteers. One of the laundromats that we just opened down on 25th and Broadway, they have 6 laundromats and they love what we're doing. They said, "You're welcome to open one in all of our laundromats, every one of them. If
Wow.
you want to, you can." I said, as soon as I get the volunteers, and
Yeah.
we'll provide, all the materials, we'll provide
Mhm.
the refreshments and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So that's always something that is a possibility. I have
Mhm.
a gal that is wants to go back to school and get her her degree in working at a drug rehab, because that's her history.
Mhm.
And she's
Yeah.
terrified of going back to school, that she's not going to be able to, you know, the math requirements for an AA degree are pretty
Yeah.
low bar,
Yes.
most regular mortals can do that, right? But she's
Mhm.
terrified. So if there was somebody that could tutor her, and you have to do a background check, because
Mhm.
and I
Mhm.
have a training that's online that you can do that uh, is for trauma-based intervention, so that do
Mhm.
no harm is kind of the starting place. So
Yeah.
I am very keen on training people so that they're not caught flat-footed, because
Mhm.
honestly, a lot of these gals, they've survived by manipulation, and so it's helpful to be smart.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to provide that. Um, uh, I don't have a lot of storage for used clothing, but
Mhm.
I can use some. Not like I said. I don't have a big warehouse, which people, when they hear about this stuff, they're very generous. And I'll get,
Yes.
oh wow, I don't have a place to
Mhm.
store that. I have an extra room off of my office, space,
Yeah.
but I can always use that if people wanna donate toiletries. Um,
Yes.
and I'm looking at small travel size, um,
Yes.
because
Mhm.
we've had people, they're so generous, they're like, "Oh my, I want to do something," and they give
Mhm.
me these big bottles of shampoo and stuff. But what often happens is they'll sell it for a hit,
Yes.
and so I don't
Mhm.
want to. It's the balancing act between helping them, providing the resources that they need. So I'm
Mhm.
talking shampoo, soap, toothbrushes, toothpaste, mouthwash, bug repellent.
Yes.
Some of them,
Wow.
a lot of them are sleeping in abandoned houses or out,
Mhm.
in the rough. And, those kind of things are important. Underwear, which is kind of, that's hard to come by on the street. And once they fall asleep, a lot of times other people will come and take everything,
Mhm.
so a lot of times I'm giving them
Yes.
stuff every week. In the winter, when it's chilly out, socks are
Mm.
really hard to come by. So those kind of things I can use those. In fact, what I usually do is, whenever I travel and I stay in a hotel, I'll just send
Yeah.
the soap and the lotion. I bring my own. So I'll
Yes.
save that. So it's not like it's a huge downstroke.
Mhm.
I'm not asking for, I'm not asking for a lot, but that's something that is pretty easy to do.
Mhm.
The other thing that we do in Palm Beach County is we run the John School.
Mhm.
So if you get busted for either buying or selling commercial
Mhm.
sex, if you take my class, if it's a misdemeanor, if you've been arrested more than 3 times, it's a felony. But if
Mm.
it's a misdemeanor, I can get that off of your record. And for the buyers, we're both classes have a whole section on STIs, sexually transmitted infections, with all the photos that
Mhm.
make you go, ooh.
Right, right, right.
Right? But then for the buyers, I have a survivor that comes and
Mhm.
shares her story in a PowerPoint, and I'm with her, so we're doing it tandem, titled Myths versus Facts
Mm.
Regarding Prostitution. And then
Wow.
in the afternoon, we have a 3 to 4 hour group therapy session where I have this brilliant therapist.
Mhm. Oh, goodness. Becky? Oh, rats. All right, you guys. Okay, so we caught when you said brilliant, it froze. So can you
Oh,
start
okay.
from there?
So he's brilliant. He's able to clearly in tears, going,
Mhm.
I never knew. I'm so sorry. One guy comes up and goes, how do I protect my 13-year-old daughter? And
Mm.
it changes them. And we do an evaluation before they get their certificate. And
Mhm.
because I'm always, how can I improve the class? Talk to me.
Yes.
And the overwhelming response, I don't think we've had a negative response in any of the people that came, which is interesting because they come in torqued, they're unhappy that that's how they're having to
Mm.
spend their Saturday. And the buyers pay and subsidize the seller's class. There's just
Wow.
something right about that, right? There's just,
Yeah.
I had a lawyer call me and go, my client is indigent. And I said, well, he had money when he got busted.
Oh. Oh, that was a great comeback, Becky. That
And then,
was-
and then for the sellers, we do the
Mm.
STIs, and then I have a survivor. Usually I have 2 or 3 survivors that will
Mhm.
come, and they share. Each one has an individual PowerPoint titled The Lies I Believed That Kept Me There.
Wow.
And
That's powerful.
it's like, and so they share that. And then in the afternoon, I have some props. I have a chair, and I have a slinky dress and heels and beads and a sweater. And we're all sitting around. There's usually, 4 or 5 of us, 6 of us. And I'm going,
Mm.
how did she get there? There's a story. There's a story that lands somebody there. Nobody
Mm.
as an 8-year-old goes, I know what I want to be when I grow up. Yeah, that's what,
Yeah.
there's a story.
Mhm.
And so we talk about, the trauma, often early childhood trauma,
Mhm.
family of origin trauma that land
Yeah.
people there. We talk about resources, because I'm going, if you want out, I am all over it. And I have a ton of resources. I know a ton of people. I can usually get rehabs, donated beds in rehabs
Mhm.
and detox. And I said, I can help you frame out what happens next if you want to get out of Dodge. There's long term, um,
Mhm.
there's long term safe houses where they work on all the family of origin, life skill deficits, and all that kind of stuff that land people there.
Mm.
I'm all over it. I can get you education. What do you want? You know? And
Wow.
so, the whole idea is most of the gals that land in there, their families are not an asset.
Mm-hmm.
My family was an asset. I most of the life skills I have are my mom modeled. My dad died when I was
Mm-hmm.
young, but my mom modeled it. It's not because I was extra smart or diligent.
Mm-hmm.
You did your homework. You just did your homework. Don't mess around, right? and so
Right.
and so very often these gals, they didn't get that same start.
Right.
I've had
Right.
gals that were scrubbing their mom's blood off the floor from whatever boyfriend beat them.
Yes.
One gal had one pair of underwear. She would wash it every morning and microwave it to get it dry.
Mm.
Crazy stories, right?
Right.
They
Right.
they didn't they didn't have the chance. And
Mm-hmm.
so to be able to go back and restore, rebuild or build in the first place those skill
Mm-hmm.
sets that they never had, to give them a chance, that's like, how cool is that? I love what I do.
Yes. 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 You said so much. Oh my gosh. Oh. Wow. Where do I start first? So, first of all, it's just amazing. I'm so grateful that, we had a little hiccup of our
Oh, good.
scheduling, right? But I'm so grateful that we connected. And it's just amazing of the things that a lot of times people take for granted. And I tell people it's a thin line.
Yeah.
It's a very thin line. And you said something so powerful. No one wakes up in the morning like, you know what? I think I just want to ruin my life. That sounds really good, or as a child, but depending on what they had or didn't have.
Right.
And every person that, don't choose the best choices for them doesn't mean that they are deprived, because some people would have had it all, but they didn't have the attention, they didn't have the love, and so they seek it out in the wrong places. So it's a
Right.
myriad of things that happen,
Yep.
but the key part of is that relationship building, where they feel that they can trust somebody to say, I want out, I
Yeah.
want out, I want better. And then having those resources and those individuals to come alongside them and walk them through it, that speaks volumes,
You know, I,
because then they in turn become
yeah,
ambassadors. Go ahead.
I got saved when I was 20.
Wow.
Wild card up until I was 20. And when I got saved, there was a woman in the church. Her husband had split. She had two little guys, and she invited me to live with her, and
Mm-hmm.
she took me in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that if I backslid, she'd come looking for me and drag me back by the hair. And I think everybody needs somebody. So
Mm,
even just to go take them out to coffee, it doesn't have to talk.
yes.
Go for a walk on the beach. It doesn't have to cost you anything.
Yes.
Everybody needs somebody who
That's right.
cares. And so
That's right.
often they didn't have that supportive family growing up. And so,
Mm-hmm.
I think God has a special place in his heart for
Yes.
people who will take on somebody else's daughter.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, you about to make me cry because that is so true. And I love the fact that not only we get a chance to be God's hands and feet in the earth, but it comes from a practical place. Practical. Because sometimes life happens and people are not equipped to handle life. Life just life. And if you're not careful, hello, that could be you.
Yeah.
That could be your child. That could be your niece. That could be your cousin. That could be a friend's child. So it's like when I say a thin line, I really mean that,
Yeah.
because it could be that they lost their parent at a young age, or let me
Yeah.
just say this: sometimes it be once someone gets to be an adult
Yeah.
and life happens to them and they don't know how to handle it.
Yeah. And you know what? If I was a single mom and my kids were hungry and we were fixing to get evicted and I didn't have the money to keep the lights on or whatever, no
Mm,
telling what I would have done.
yeah,
No
yeah.
telling.
It's so crazy that you're saying this because A lot of people don't like when I say this. I said I don't get invited to too many churches anymore. But anyway, I say, we will be quick to get our checklist out of what we can't do, what we shouldn't do. You can't do this, you can't do this. Where are the resources?
Yeah.
Where are the resources? Because if you telling me that I need to get out of this situation, if you're telling me that this lifestyle is not good for me, if you're telling me that where are the resources to show me?
Yeah.
Where are they?
Yeah.
Where are they? And I am so grateful for the opportunity to meet you virtually.
Me too.
But definitely you have my commitment. I mean, I do a lot in the community already from me being deprived as a child.
Yeah.
But there's still more, whether it's getting the big laundry detergents and letting you guys have them when you go to the laundromat, or being a collective being for the small toiletry item. Just know that, this is the year that I will add. I do have some organizations I already help support indirectly or whatever, but you guys will be added to it because I believe in this mission, and I believe in, we can't turn a blind eye to it. It's like once you've been introduced to something, then we're obligated. And you may not have all the money. And this, I'm talking to my audience now. You may not have all the money, whether you're watching now or watching later, because it'll be still on my page. You may not have the money, but you may know somebody. You may have a friend that can help. But you've heard the plea, you've heard the request of socks and toiletry items and detergents and dryer sheets and all of these things, and a tutorer. So I know I have one friend. I don't know if she's available because she already does tutoring, but I'm going to ask her about tutoring. And I think math is her favorite subject. So we're going to be putting out, this is just not a show for people to like it and talk about it, but this is a show that we create an awareness, and then from the awareness we take action. And so I want to say thank you. Are there any, because 30 minutes are already up. It's like, no, we just got on. But are there any last words or any comments or anything coming up that we can help support?
Actually, there is an event this Saturday on the 20th at Community of Hope East Campus off Military Trail near Forest Hill. It's from 1 to 4 o'clock. And there's going to be a film called, I just blanked on the name of the film.
That's okay. If you think something, can you send it to me and I can post it on my page?
There's a film that's about gals. It's interviews with women, girls, teenagers usually, that got wrapped up in being sex trafficked. There's going to be a panel afterwards of discussion for, basic questions. How does this apply to Palm Beach County? How can we participate? And it's just very grassroots kind of a thing. So if you want to know more information, want to find out other organizations where you might be able to volunteer or participate, come on out. It's free. It's my favorite flavor.
Awesome. Right. And so you guys, thank you. First of all, Becky, thank you a million times over. I had another entity on last year for, around this time. And I just think, it's like, wow, you think you got it sort of kind of, understood, and then you hear these kinds of things. You guys are doing amazing. I love the courses that people are having to take for their actions, right? And I love the fact that it's things that are just practical. These things that just hit home, and one person can't do all things, but many hands make light work. And you have my commitment that you'll be hearing from me in a week or so, if not sooner, of some of the things that we can help support from what we call Blessed Boulevard. Because I'm gonna round up some folks and be like, hey, go watch my show and let me know what y'all can help with, because we want to make sure that we do our part. And I want to say thank you again for taking the time out of your schedule to meet with us. And I'll make sure that I share the link in our comment section so people will know about the organization, go to your website, find out more. And then once again, viewers, like I said, if you can't help, then somebody. You know somebody. And one thing we can all do, and that's pray. We
Yeah.
can pray. We can pray because prayer changes things and prayer answers things.
Well, our big objective is to reopen a safe house because that's the biggest
Wow.
issue. They get out of the life and they have nowhere to go, no way to
Yes.
support themselves. They usually get
Yes.
out with just the clothes on their back. And so
Mhm.
that's our big goal.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're definitely gonna be praying for that.
Thank
We
you.
definitely gonna be praying for that. And and you said something so key. Homelessness is a serious issue everywhere.
Yeah.
And then to be, homeless and that it's just like a double whammy. And so we want to be, we want to be the resource. We want to be, God's hands and feet in the earth. And that's what we're called to do. And so again, I say thank you so very much for taking the time out. And it will be on our page. I think I can get it on YouTube. I'm not for sure, but hopefully I can. And then we're going to, beat some bushes to get some donations in and get them your way. Thank you so much and have a wonderful afternoon. You guys, wonderful evening. You guys don't forget to like and share the show and then the announcements of all the things that's going on in the community over the next 6 weeks. We're going to plug them in there as well. Be blessed.
Thank you.